Yeah, fellas, welcome to the show. As you see by the title is Race. Does race matter in the dating game? Being 58 years of age, I will say 100% that it does matter what race you are here in America. I can only speak for America. The fellow that asked me this question is African American. And for us African Americans, it does matter if you're dating outside of our race. So 100%. But you have to back engineer. Think about it this way. White women want to have blonde-haired, blue-eyed, little buttermilk complected babies. They're not going to get that from you, from black fellows. Okay? Think about their fathers. Their fathers want the procreation of their race. He wants to see his lineage go on forward with children that look like him. Think of the mother. She wants the same thing. The brothers, the entire family. The entire family don't want her bringing home a biracial baby. Look at the race problems here in America, and you might get a little small inkling of what I'm talking about. For example, I'm not driving to the state of Missouri. So I've just plotted out my route. I've been really busy the last couple of days, plotting a trip to Georgia. So race matters 100%. Women, they don't want to be seen dating a black guy. Some, not all, but there are some. There are many that wouldn't date a black guy to begin with, because they know what the problems would be for their family. Okay, as I said before, women who actually date black dudes are special women. They look beyond the color. A lot of them say that we're like a sexual fetish because of our sexual prowess and our masculinity and our penis size. But I don't really see it as that. I see it as women that enjoy the diversity. Okay. If you live in America, it is 100% an issue, because, as I'm trying to explain to you, think about if you were a white father and your daughter brought home this black dude. Now, think about the state of black people, the way white people see us. They see the rappers, the dreadheads, the saggers. That's what the media shows them. They don't show them people like me. They don't show them people that you may be like. I'm not sure what type of individual you are. You might be a sagger. You might smoke weed. Someone spoke to me on Facebook today, and I looked at his page, and he had weed stuff on his page. Definitely not my market. So anyways, you have to back engineer and see it from their point of view. If you were that man, you would want your daughter dating a black dude either. Because look at the stigma of black people. Look at the state that we're in. Look at how we're portrayed by the media. Then there's also the whole race thing. Some of you guys, I've ran into it. It's usually the idiots that I run into are usually black dudes. It's usually black dudes that comment on shit like this. White chicks are easy. They ain't get no problem. Those are the ones that go to black clubs just looking for black dudes. They've been blackicized, I always call it. Yeah, they're easy because all they want is black dudes. You say, I don't like white chicks like that. I didn't hunt white chicks like that. And they come up talking ghetto and try to smoke weed and shit. Okay. I went to the upscale clubs. Yeah, I tried to hunt in the middle and up to upper middle class. So those kind of women, usually I was the first, or maybe they've tried to go black once before, something like that. But the ones that only do blacks, that's not my type. They've been turned out, and every 10-inch dick in town has been ran through that shit. Sorry if you're biracial. I'm not talking about your mamas. But when you start to begin to see it from a father's point of view and from the family, think about it. I go back to when I was dating this girl named Susan. She was from her father was principal of school. Her mother was a head nurse. So basically upper middle class. And her older sister married a black dude. And she talked about how funny it was, this black dude, he was like a pimp, sitting at the table with her father. And her father was Irish. Irish in this country tend to be Once it got led to the white club, they became like the Italians, super racist. Like look at Sean Hannity and the other buffoon that got fired. They become like the lapdogs of white supremacy. No offense to you, Michael Nolan, but that's how your people are in this country. They were the ones that were the overseers on the plantations. You know, this has always been the role. You know, the intermediaries between the power structure and you know, the subordinates, the lowlifes, as they call them. So imagine an Irish family, and their mother was Italian. See what I mean? So this black dude sitting at the table, it was a nightmare when she was growing up. Her mother only did it, or her sister only did it to get back at her father also. And she was giggling the whole time. But so she used that man, married that man as a joke on the father. I met a Mormon chick that I was boning. That the reason why she's boning me was because of her Mormon father. I learned to try to step into their shoes at an early age. That's why I understand. I get it. I totally understand. Each race wants to continue its own down the chain. They don't want the outside blood in that. You know, they want it to be just pure white. The dominant race. Also, that fellow that was the swirler guy, the vegator, he actually talked about how he doesn't want to, sorry to say this to us African Americans, but he didn't want his child to be half because he knows the struggles that blacks go through. And he also talked about how he don't know how to fix that kind of hair. He don't know how to comb that kind of hair. So, you know, I really appreciate what he actually said. And he also put that Kristen Carroll is in a state of shock because she's expecting him to, you know, side with her before swirling shit. But he actually went the other way. And I agree with him. I applaud, and I see it all the time nowadays, white men with black wives and kids. That's the way it used to be in my father's case. And back in time, we were not allowed to marry white women. We were not allowed to even look at white women. That's what sparked to struck the Black Wall Street. America is not aware of this, but there were black communities that were extremely wealthy. And one in particular was burned to the ground and bombed from the air. They had movie theaters, they had hospitals, they had just about everybody owned a business. They had schools. And then on the other side of the tracks was a poor white community. And then they're looking across tracks, all these rich black dudes, black people. They had cab companies. And white America bombed it. You know, they just got back from World War I. They bombed it from the air with their little hand-dropped missiles. The KKK got involved. They shot down men, women, and children. So the issues between white and black are still there today. That's why when you look at Hollywood, you go back to the movie Hancock, when they allowed a black person to have a superhero. Look what he was. A buffoon, drunk, playing rap music. He's flying through the air with a car and drinking a 40. That's what white America views black people. You know, they gave him the superpowers, strongest man on the planet, but he was controlled. It took a white man to teach him how to be a normal person. That's how we're done in this country. And that's how we're seen. So you can't blame these fathers out there if a daughter brings home a black man. You can't blame them. That's how they're trained to see us. They don't see the black guy went to college and he may be on his way to become a doctor or something like that. They just see a black man. So race is vitally important. That's why you have to learn to go for who's choosing you. You're not going to talk a white girl into getting ostracized by her family, embarrassing her parents, embarrassing her family. You're not going to talk them into risking that kind of shit. And don't think they've been coached on that before. I'm sure white families do tell their daughters, don't bring them home a N-word. I've gotten that from a lot of chicks, by the way. One girl, I dated her for 8 years, never met her parents. Never met her parents. So that's America. But you got to see both sides of the equation. You know, see what they see, I don't care if you got a fucking degree. It's still going to be hard for them because they have friends, and you become an embarrassment to them in their friends' eyes as well. Nobody thought about that, and that's just the way it is here in America. Okay, so race is vitally important when you're a minority. I don't care what kind of minority you are: Asian, Black, Hispanic. It doesn't matter. If you're not white, then it's going to become a problem for that family. It's going to become a problem for that family and their embarrassment. Now, Jovina's sister, little sister, 10 years difference. She was in high school. She was messing with a Black dude, and her father hated it. Jovina,
yes.
Talk about, for these fellas, how your father hated the fact that your sister was messing with a Black man. Was it about race? It was about race.
Part of it was, but the other part was that he was older than her because he was 22 and she was only 17.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it was the combination of things, and he never did end up liking him.
Yeah, well, the dude was one of those no good Black dudes.
Well, yeah, he never did anything to prove himself.
Yeah.
That he was worthy of being, of taking care of my sister and the kids, because he never really
He never did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that if he would have proven himself, that would have been different.
Yeah. It kind of surprised me. His dark your father, isn't he? And I said, I'm not white, I'm a mulatto or something. He said, I must be a mulatto.
He knows he's not white.
Yeah. But for him to hate, Blacks, I guess he doesn't know his own genetics.
He had that program in him,
And that's amazing when foreigners come to America, they get on that hate the Black thing real fast. They learn that shit real fast to fit in. Like the Italians, when they got let in the white club, look how they hate Blacks now. At one time, they were all dark skinned before they intermarried with other, like Irish and shit. And not all of them, but the majority of them, were dark skinned. That's why they couldn't get in. The Greeks, same thing. They were dark skinned. They couldn't get into the white club. So they finally, white folks wanted their history so they could, boost themselves up. And this is true. So if you're white, that's what you guys did. You glommed onto the Greeks' history, even though they had nothing to do with you Northern Europeans back then, except to enslave you. And you let them into the club in exchange. So they get to enjoy the white privilege and the white card and all that. It's interesting to look at race in America, and it's sad. It's extremely sad that we are put down to these types of levels. We got to be, hold on. It's got to be like that here in America in 2017. So if you're going after white women, you definitely have to go after the ones that are willing to cross that color line, willing to embarrass their families. I know that her sister was an embarrassment to the entire Portuguese community when they had their festivals, which she had her first Black child. Although her father did, to really take to his grandson, because he'd fallen around, but the grandson grew into a Black youth and a Black adult, and that her nephew ain't doing shit with his life except smoking weed. When I came along, Jovina, her father wouldn't let me in and said he's not coming to my house. And Jovina said I was ready to break up with her. I was done. I was in my 40s. I was too old for that shit. I was walking out. And I guess, I don't know if your sister said something or your mom said something, no, but she stopped going to Christmas.
It was my sister that said something that said, he's not key.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I was too old for that shit. I was in my 40s. So I'm tired of this. That's why I was looking for one of my own race to settle down with, because I didn't want to go through that kind of shit. If you're dating outside your race, you're going to have to deal with that shit. You got to deal with their family more likely not wanting you around because you're an embarrassment to them. That's why when I go with Jovina to Portuguese festivals, I'm looking for some shit. I know the word. The word's pret. And macaque means monkey. And pret means black. So I'm listening as I walk around. When I hear that, bam! Huh?
You're looking for those two words.
I'm listening for those two goddamn words. Like I'm going back to her island next year, and I'm looking out for that shit. Just with an attitude, chip on my shoulder. Plet gone, that big black macaque monkey. So, anyways, I'm like, I tell her I'm like the revenge for Angola and my brother Alfonso's family, and revenge for those goddamn slave ships. So I show up and walk around with my head up. Anyways, that's race in America, even amongst minorities. Jovina with a non-white father. She took after her mom's skin, but her brother has the brown skin, and their little sister has the brown skin. We used to call her Judy the Booty. That's why she attracted that 20-year-old black dude. So, fellas, you do have to be aware of race. You're gonna experience stuff like what I experienced. You know, he's not out of my house. He didn't come to my house. And when Jovina quit going to Christmas, you know, she was spending Christmas with me and all the holidays. That's when they kind of wisened up a little bit. And I think she said her sister said, "Well, he's not Keith." And Keith was the one that she was messing with. She has 2 kids with. You know, the son ended up being just like the dad. No good. No offense to him. But that's a problem for a lot of African-American kids. He tried to be a rapper. He rapped about, you know, I live in a house where nobody looks like me and nobody's, you know, he was living with the grandparents and nobody looked like him. Imagine being a black kid growing up amongst white folks, how biracials do. But he doesn't look like he's biracial. He looks like me. Genetics in them. And that's what came out. But it's hard to be in interracial relationships because for me, when I get around, you know, black women, Jovina, come over here. You forget that shit. This is a good topic. Tell us about the black women who have made about the looks, the comments. You heard a comment one time that I didn't even.
You want to put me on the spot right now?
Well, I'm sharing with the fellas. You know, from my side, I get the shit too.
Yeah.
You know, I get the looks from black women. Yeah, I get the hate looks.
What's wrong with you?
You said one time they said something like that.
Yeah, we were at the grocery store. We were walking in. There was these 2 ladies talking.
I remember the whole event, but I remember saying anything.
I started.
If I had heard it, I said, you know,
you didn't hear anything because you were talking.
Yeah.
And I was walking in kind of behind you, so I'm passing by, and I could see from the corner of my eye her shaking her head, and I heard her make that sound. She made it loud enough, and you were just talking a mile a minute. That's when you were paying attention.
I don't blame black women though. You know, they say there's no good black men out there, and you know, white women are taking them. There's that one video I put up where the, you know, thick white girls run through the neighborhood. I'm taking your women or your men. Remember that video?
Oh God, yes.
And she's right. You know, that kind of build. She's built like a black woman. So, and I don't blame the black women for hating. I understand where they're coming from. I don't just react to anger and stuff like that. I try to understand where they're coming from. And, you know, like Cynthia G, because of, I guess, issues in her family, her sister's marrying white men, or one of her sisters, something like that. And, you know, I guess that didn't work out right. And she has a lot of vitriol and anger and hatred, calling white folks, I always say devils.
Devils, yeah.
Devils. Not devils, but devils. She calls them devils, and that's just giving too much power to a group of people. These demons, that's just giving way too much power. That means they're on your mind. They're all up in your head. That's all you think about. But I do understand. You know, I understand what she says about, you know, interracial relationships, but it's my choice. And if you're trying to date outside your race, it's your choice. If you're a white man dating a black woman and you see, you know, you probably get hatred from black dudes. I've never done that. Actually, I did it once when she was really hot. You know, what? And he would look like a goob. He must have a good credit, as they say. Yeah, goob with money. So, anyways, I did that one time, but I don't normally do that. You know,
shame on you.
I even seen a Chinese guy with a black woman, a black family. And I thought that was interesting. I was looking at kids, how they came out. Said,
No, it's happening a lot more.
yeah.
A lot of it going on YouTube too.
Yeah, apparently there's a lot of black women going for Asian males now. Not a lot, but there's a small percentage of, it's really tiny, but they make their little videos. Asian man makes a good father, which I understand they actually do, because they'll be there for those children. They don't divorce. Divorce, look at the Asian community, that's not one of the things they do. And they're not likely to be cheaters like, us brothers are.
I think that's probably a big draw.
Yeah. Some of these women have been cheated on, and plus they have all same access to good credit as white men do. But I was a brag with something. Never mind.
What was that?
Can't nothing take the place of a good black man. We're the strongest force on this planet. Yeah, go ahead and touch it. I let you touch me. Again, when you're dating outside the race, you're going to get looks from both parties. If you're like black dating East Indian, the East Indian is going to be looking at you, especially the men.
Yeah.
The black women are going to be looking at you. You can't get away from it. It's hard dating outside the race. It can be very, very challenging. As you guys know, most of the women I've been with were white or half white and Hispanic. That was my favorite, half white, half Hispanics. Because they had the flavor of the Latin, but they weren't, so far into the culture. They had half the culture. Although they didn't have any problems with the culture. Just don't date a Portuguese man. They're like the fucking worst. God damn it! Don't date Portuguese.
I'm sitting right here, right?
Actually, they're good. They're good maids. They're good at keeping the house clean, and they're loyal. Loyal as old dog.
You want to talk about good credit too?
Yeah, you guys have good credit. Yeah, that's how we're getting back east. Very good credit. I have good credit too. Anyways, let's get back to the problems. We've experienced the looks from black women. Black dudes, when they probably try to hit on Jovina when they see her with a black man. Have you had that problem? Like the looks?
Not recently, no.
Well, you gained some weight. We're getting older, though. We are looking older.
Yeah. Plus, we're not paying, I'm not paying attention.
Yeah.
You're the one that pays more attention.
Well, I see things. Like, when I would go out, and there would be an interracial couple, black and white, the white woman always threw me the look. Except when I got really fat. But I always, would get that look when I first started dating Jovina. And that was them trying to, it made me not trust those kind of white women that go for just black dudes, because they'll fuck any black dude. It seemed like they'll fuck any black dude came along, because they always were throwing their fucking look. And if you're a white woman listening to me that dates black dudes, hey, that's what I've experienced in my life. There are times we're at a restaurant, and I look. I shouldn't have been looking, but I see an interracial couple, and I look. And, they'll be doing that fake laughing. They look over and scan you, and, make an eye contact with you. You know what I'm talking about, but that's what I've gotten. And then Jovina's noticed, chicks throwing the look at times. The other issues you'll have to deal with, as I said, are white males. If you're a white male, you hate to see white women with black dudes. And all those thoughts go through your head. Oh, he's probably got a 10 inches and all that. It's nonsense. Let me tell you, it's nonsense, okay? But white men hate to see a white woman unless she's fat. If she's fat, they go, oh, good. But if she's hot, they hate that. So you have to deal with, the looks from white men. I've been called, the N-word, and girls I'm with called, N-word lover. And always from speeding trucks, I said before, it's always from a speeding truck. Those people in the trucks.
Yeah, they can't
the Trumpers speed by in the trucks, yell the N-words and all that hatred. So besides black women, you have to deal with white men. I don't think they say anything to Asian men, though, and white women. Because I think Asian is considered a subdued race. They're always good. They don't act up, except for the Asian gangs, but they get along. They're like passive. Whereas black
Yeah,
folks,
probably
we're
for the most
acting
part.
up. We're the number one in robbery, number one in murder of each other. That's where we have a little bit higher numbers than white folks do. So I believe it's just, African Americans. They have this thing against black men. And I think it's because that whole, I want to put in a wheelchair nonsense that one dude was talking about. Penis size issues. I think the difference is like an inch. Big deal. It's not that serious. But you got to explain it to these people with their little beady eyes, live out in the rural areas. It ain't that serious. So there you go, fellas. That's race and date outside of your race in America from a black man's point of view. It can be hard, it can be challenging, it can be enriching in some ways. I thought I would never go back to black after my ex-wife because of her inability to balance a checkbook, mainly. Put me in the poorhouse. I figured I'd do worse by myself. And like black women, white women do have good credit. They do have good credit. So that's another reason why you might want to, slip over to the white side.
All about the good
You know how us
credit,
brothers are. You know how black men are. So they do have good credit. They do have access to things, And that's why I use Jovina. I do use her when we travel. If we need like something at the store, I duck down a little bit and she goes in the store. Even in California, if we go out in the rural area, I'll stay in the car while she goes to the store. You get me tired of me doing that? I'm doing that to save our lives. All it takes one white idiot to see us. And they don't like interracial relationships. I once traveled with, I talked about Susie. I traveled to Santa Barbara with Susie. And she looked like she was like 13 years old. I look like old, I didn't look like old black man, but I was in my 20s. And I looked like I was, like 19, but we traveled and I got all kind of looks. And that's when I really learned about race, was then, when I was actually in my later 20s, how bad it really is out there. If you're in an interracial relationship, be careful. Remember, we got a different president now. It's a different world out there, different times. People aren't as tempered as they used to be. I guess I'll say it like that. All right, let's see if we've got any questions. Any questions for Jovina about dating a black dude? Any questions, Jovina? Do black women date Japanese? Yes, they do. Hey, Greece, what's up? Speaking of dating white women, that's one of the biggest offenders right there is Greece. Dominic, are you taking questions today? Yes, I am. Kara, that's true indeed. Dominic, I had a white girl ask me if my parents told me to stay away from white girls. Remo, yo, supreme, race definitely matters. Yeah. Cal Nick said, no, it doesn't. And I comment on the post, it matters 100%. When you start to see all different sides of it, their side, their family side, that dad has to be made fun of by his white friends, by the way. And they will make fun of him. Think about the white jokes they tell about blacks. Elder Scrolls, here any tips on getting new friends and a girlfriend in adult class to start in late August? You're still doing the same thing. I told you what to do last time. You got to get over your nonsense. I don't like to repeat myself, Elder Scrolls. I really hate to repeat myself. Dominic Griffin, I was told by my great-grandmother would turn over in the grave if I dated a white woman. Really? Mm-hmm. My great-grandmother was Native American and black. So was my grandmother, my mom's mother. I never knew that until recently when I met her relatives. They tend to be very dark-skinned. They just have longer hair. So I'm sure had a lot of bad experience with, yeah. Truly, like, where has Greece been? Mitch says Greece is always around. Why you ask about Greece? Who are you, Mitch? Greece. Federal offender. Tips on socializing. Yeah. Okay, let me give you some tips on socializing. Take a real interest in other people instead of your own bullshit issues. Go to my fan page. I did a lecture this morning on how to talk to girls. When you take an interest in another person and ask them about their life, they become interested in you because you took an interest in them. What are your views on that young brother who got beaten to death in Greece for taking a selfie with a white chick? I don't have anything good to say about it. I don't have anything good to say about that shit. That was fucked up. And I guess they were Serbians. You know, Serbians, yeah. That's like Russians. They can be extreme racists. Kind of funny, you know, when white people moved in there were brown people already there. There were tribes of brown people in that area. And, you know, the white folks took over and they have learned to become racist. Dominic. Yes, my great mother was dark-skinned, but her brother was very light-skinned and looked like a white man. I've only noticed the women tend to be very dark. My dad was light because his father was half white and half Native American. That's why he didn't look like he was half, because both of them were split in two. And Native American is a melanated race also. But he was that tan sort of white until he came to California. Then he got darker to yellow. That kind of clear tan look that some mulattoes get or mixed race get. Dominic, her brothers, it's gone, Elder Scrolls, but some girls talk too much of themselves, and that's what you want. Okay, Elder Scrolls. If you get tired, then you shouldn't be talking to people. Stay antisocial. If you can't take an interest in someone as a human being, don't bother. Don't waste your time. Don't waste their time. Alpha wants to know, we must come as men and show our faces, gentlemen. So that really is your baby face? I got a baby face too. That's why I grow facial hair. How do I get black women? They don't pay me attention. Find the ones that will pay you attention. Try socializing with them. Why do you want a sister anyway? With sisters, you got to be hard, man. That's why I tell every white guy that goes for sisters, unless she's a mulatto. If she's a mulatto and she goes to the white side, then she wants white men. But if she goes the dark side, that type normally wants dark-skinned black men. That's why you see that light-dark combination. It's rare that I see light and light, like Greece's parents. They're both, his mom looks like she's white. His dad is yellow-skinned. I've rarely seen that combination. Kara, I've seen mulattoes look more black than me. I actually knew one like that. I didn't know she was a mulatto. That time you stepped away and you came back, that chick was talking to me at the Desiree. Her name was Desiree. And apparently her dad was really, really dark-skinned. Now we look at Obama, and he looked like, a brother. His hair was, the afro, but his dad was pure African. That's a strong gene. I don't want to be called alpha anymore. It's associated with too much negativity. Good. I'm 19. That's probably why. Yep, that's why. Donna says, my parents are light-skinned. What have you meant? No, I'm kidding. You look like you're light-skinned too, I think. I can't see you. It's too small. You go back to your shit. I can see you're bored. I don't want you to be like, That time we were looking at oh my goddamn Dean show. He had those tired ass hoes. One looked like she was bored out of her mind.
Oh, you guys are talking amongst yourself. I'm just tired. I've been sleeping all day.
Yeah, we're taking off tomorrow, fellas. I've been busy. I waited. You know, I'm doing all these goddamn errands all the goddamn day, and I'm also waiting for a phone call from Google, but they didn't call me. Thomas says, "No, I'm like your color." In between. True Enlightened. Who is the guy with the cartoon face, Supreme? What guy? Don't know what you're talking about. Oh. Grease. You thought he disappeared, huh? The brother is tired of the internet. He is gonna, you know, he is taking time off. I'm gonna be gone for 3 weeks. And I'm tired of the internet. I'm tired of YouTube. So I've been trying to advertising system, and they rejected my site because I found because somewhere there's a link that goes to one of my workout sites, and on that workout site there's like a little photo that says ripped abs in 30 days, all because of that. Okay, Enlightened. I'm just stopping by to answer a couple of questions on race and dating, and then I'm out of here. We got to make some phone calls. Got to set up our hotels for the first portion of our trip. No days off. What's going on? We're finally getting that camping trip going. No, I'm driving to Georgia to meet my dad's side of the family for family reunion. It's good because I'm not close to my mom, my mom's side at all. I don't remember any of the cousins. I do know the uncles and aunts, but I'm not close to them. There is a cousin on my mom's side that's attached to Facebook. I guess he's a gangbanger, ex-gangbanger. He throws up gang signs and talks about stupid shit. I don't talk to the fella. He did lift 345-pound plates for like 20 reps or 12 reps, some high number of reps. He's built like, but he's cock strong. Dominic, a question. Is it okay to ask white girls if they date black men? If they're talking to you, that means they date black men. Okay. I've never asked. I've thought about it before, but I've never really asked a chick. So do you date, you know, when I'm talking to her, so you date white, you date brothers? She's talking to me. It just makes logical sense. One, because I asked a girl once, she flipped out on me with yeah. She probably was thinking you think, you know, automatically think she's a racist or something. I don't know. Dominic, me personally, I never really like white women. I preferred black women and Latinos. Yeah, I know. You mentioned that before. True Enlightened, I want a black girl because I want to date one of every race before I settle down. I had that idea once myself, and I had a chance to date an Asian girl, but I didn't. Or fucking an Asian girl. I think they'd be too small inside because I ran into an Italian chick. I had a shoe on my dick in. And it was the tightest shit I've ever felt. I'd use all my mind power not to bust. Every race out there is designed for its own race of men. Asian women are for Asian men. That's the best match right there. You have your own history in common, like Japanese for Japanese, Chinese for Chinese. Jovina works with a Japanese girl that's married to a Chinese man. I was asking about that. Don't you guys hate each other? But I guess in America it's different. Asian girls are boring in bed. They just lay there. I prefer white women. You have that white fever, huh? A lot of Asian males get that. It's like some kind of status symbol to get a white woman. You should try internet dating. Put your profile up and see. It's like putting out a fish trap, see what you catch. Put on there that you want to date black or white women. Somehow word it into your title. All right, fellas, I have to roll. I've got a lot of shit to do. I've got to prepare our entertainment. I've got to get my phone ready with all the audiobooks because I listen to audiobooks when I drive. I've got to get dry ice. I've got to get ice. Well, I'll do that tomorrow, though. I've already gotten our breakfast. So I've got so much. I got to call the credit card companies. I've got to make reservations for a room. I still got a lot to do. So I'm out of here, fellas. We'll talk again soon, if not later. You guys have a good evening.